Ashleigh Nelson. I am from Wagen, which is a small country town in Western Australia, about 2.5 hours southeast of Perth, and I'm a midfielder / striker for the Hockeyroos. Yeah, so for me it was definitely a strong family influence. My dad, my auntie, my nana, my cousins and my 2 older brothers, so I'm the youngest and the only girl in the family, so they all used to go to hockey, so it was probably quite typical that I decided to follow them down there and try and get a hit with the ball. I don't think my 2 older brothers were very impressed with me following them along, but that's how it all started. So I guess you could say I started probably when I was about 5 years of age. I was selected for the Hockeyroos when I was 21, and it was off the back of my last under-21s tournament, so junior tournament. And there were a few rumours going around that I might have been selected, but the team had then got selected and they were going over to Adelaide to play, so I thought, oh, maybe, that was just a false rumour. But I think one of the girls must have got injured, and then I got the phone call to say that I was getting called in late and went over there, so it was quite surreal. I remember being on the phone going, is this a joke? Who even is this that's calling me? So that was a pretty amazing experience. I often tell people that I just remember feeling exhausted within the first 5 minutes. It's just such an emotional build-up. You're very stressed a lot of the time, especially in the few days leading up to that game as well, because it is your first game and you don't really know what to expect. So I went out there and it was just at a whole new different level, a different pace that you're not used to, and I thought I've got a lot of work to do if I'm going to be able to maintain playing at this level for a long period of time. So it definitely was a reality check. It is pretty frustrating when we've got probably, the women are number 2 in the world and the men are number 1 in the world as far as hockey goes, and it really doesn't get the coverage that I think it deserves. But unfortunately, when you look at it, hockey isn't in the media enough, and when we compare the amount of media coverage for cricket and football, it's understandable that people don't really follow hockey. So I think it's about raising exposure of hockey, trying to get different media companies interested in covering hockey. We need to put more money into it so that the game is likeable to watch on TV, so they're aiming to increase the number of cameras that they have around the pitch, because it is quite a fast game, so it is quite hard to follow on TV, which can make it a little bit more difficult to watch, whereas football, basketball, that kind of thing, it's easier to get those close-up shots and it's more visually appealing. So I think if we make hockey a lot more visually appealing and keep on putting money into it so that we can get those good quality camera shots and close-up of players and have media coverage of it, well then the sport will continue to grow and people will enjoy watching it. We're pretty fortunate. The men and women in Australia get paid pretty equally, which is sometimes quite unusual for women in sport. It's not huge amounts of money, but it definitely assists us, especially during Olympic year, to become semi-full-time athletes, so that we can focus on winning gold at Rio. But during a non-Olympic year, most girls would either study, because we understand that they'll either study or work. we study because we understand that you generally can't make a life with hockey, so we need to have something to transition to after hockey. Previous to this year, I was working as an occupational therapist along with training, which was pretty difficult and quite full on. I was working in injury management and then also long-term injury rehab at a hospital. So I really enjoyed it, but it gets to a point where you're trying to commit to your life outside of hockey and then also hockey itself, and you want to give yourself the best chance to improve as a hockey player. Probably like 2 years out from the Olympics, most girls have finished up working because you really need to dedicate yourself and make that choice that you're not going to work and live off sort of that bare minimum wage to make sure that you're prepared for the Olympic Games. Because you can always work for the rest of your life. That's the way I look at it. You know, hockey is something that you can only do for a finite amount of time. So yeah, that's the decision that I've made. It would be nice to be good at golf or tennis or something along those lines where you could do both, you know, but that's where we're at the moment. And hopefully after I finish hockey, then I might be able to get involved in trying to promote the sport so that we can have full-time athletes, full-time hockey athletes. And coming away here and playing for the Diamonds, I always enjoy that. It's a lot more social and it's always something pretty special coming back and playing for your home state, and it's funny going up against your teammates from Hockeyroos, so there's always a little bit of smack talk that goes on there, and that keeps it quite enjoyable. So there are certain things that come up during the year which I think put it back into perspective, and you know, you kind of go, I get to play hockey for a living, which is a pretty cool job to have. So yeah, I think going into Rio Olympics, we're a gold medal prospect, and that's a realistic view of it. Probably London Olympics in 2012, we were hoping to medal, and we were sitting at number 6 or number 7 in the world, so it was going to be very difficult probably for us to medal. But then Adam Commons came on board in 2011, and after the London Olympics introduced a lot of new changes, so there was more girls that came into the program to increase that depth. He made sure that everyone was improving on skills, so a lot of footage from Europe and the skills that they use were introduced into Australia. And I think that that's probably helped us progress to being number 2 in the world, and we still got a little while to go. You know, we're only just under a year out from the Rio Olympics, so we don't have a lot of time, but we need to use this time effectively to catch up to Holland, who we've played recently, and unfortunately haven't really closed the gap on them as far as results go. So yeah, in order to win that gold medal, I think that's what we have to be aiming to do over this next 12 months.
They really did their homework on us, and what we went out to execute got shut down early. And then after that, we sort of put our heads down. We didn't know what to do. We'd never been in that position before.
Didn't expect to lose that one, but to WA's credit, they came out and really put us under pressure, and we sort of fell away from our game plan a bit, which gave us some material to go back into our meetings and fix the problems that we had. So in a way it was bad, but in every championship you have a hurdle, so we had ours then, and looking forwards and onwards to the finals.